If you dream it, you can achieve it. William Arthur Ward. The aforementioned quotation, along with numerous others from wise individuals throughout human history, emphasizes the significance of picturing an event in your mind's eye before it happens. The term dream in the aforementioned phrase does not relate to the pictures and visuals you view when you're dozing off or dreaming. Instead, this is a reference to the life goals you want to accomplish. For some, setting and achieving goals is difficult due to the unpredictable nature of life. Some might legitimately point to the COVID-19's alarming nature and rumblings as evidence for why it's best not to create goals or plans for your life. Some people would argue that there are no guarantees in life, much like in the stock market. Without a question, life may be unpredictable at times, leaving you never sure what will happen next. But if you don't make plans and objectives that you plan to accomplish in a certain amount of time, you're just living your life in conjecture. The statement that whatever will be is untrue. You have the power to choose and achieve your goals in life. There are numerous inspiring tales of people who used visualization to their advantage and saw real-world success. If you use the advice in this book, you too can become one of those individuals. The trip commences with defining visualization and concludes with strategies for achieving success with it. Have fun on the journey. Chapter 1. What is visualization? The mind is a strong place, and what you feed it may have a profound impact on you. This is one of the worst-kept secrets in the world. It's the truth, forget about the clever wording. The impact of your mental state on your life has been the subject of countless works. One of the most potent mental weapons for preparing yourself for the amazing future you want is visualization. This chapter aims to clarify what visualization isn't in order to better understand what it is. The things visualization isn't, as we shall begin this adventure by defining what it isn't. One of the finest methods to learn about anything is to do so first. Like with other popular ideas and occurrences, there are a lot of exaggerated or completely erroneous descriptions and beliefs around visualization. We'll point out some frequent misconceptions and overhypes about visualization to make sure you haven't fallen for any of them. Below are some common myths of visualization. Myth number 1: wishing and hoping something happens. It is true that visualizing entails forming an internal picture of the goal you wish to accomplish. But to think that visualization is just wishful thinking and hoping for the best is misguided and deluded. This very simplistic interpretation of the idea is the reason why so many individuals never accomplish anything concrete while using visualization. They believe they are using and exercising this phenomenon, but it is untrue. Instead, visualization is the process of engineering a certain outcome and the steps necessary to get there in your mind. To put it another way, visualization is more than just thinking about your goals. Rather, it also requires creativity in terms of the actions you'll need to do to reach the goal. You are living in fantasy land if all you do is visualize yourself accomplishing a goal without considering how you will get there. Myth number 2: visualization isn't scientific. Some would argue that visualization isn't scientific in an attempt to refute the practice. This assertion is not at all accurate, though. Researchers have shown that specific brain functions that support goal achievement are enhanced by visualizing. It is therefore wise for you to confirm any claim before taking it at its value. The Internet provides us with a plethora of information to assess the validity of any claim in the current world. Therefore, you will be much benefiting yourself if you verify your information before embracing any widely held belief. We shall examine the scientific data supporting the efficacy of visualization in the ensuing chapters. Myth number 3: visualization is for lazy dreamers. This assertion stems from the idea that vision is limited to daydreaming about purchasing Microsoft while lounging on a couch. However, as was already established, this is not at all the case. Prominent figures like Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, and Jim Carrey have freely talked about using visualization to help them realize their goals. You will be able to tell that they are not lazy individuals if you know them. Instead, the way they were thinking drove them to want to get from where they were to where they are. Thus, those who live in a fantasy world and are indolent should not use visualization. Rather, it's meant for those who are determined to achieve their goals in life and won't settle for anything less. Myth number 4: visualization is only effective for long-term targets. You may use visualization now without having to wait for 15 or 20 years to achieve your goals. You can use this technique as long as the goal you want to accomplish is in the future. Visualization is therefore still useful even if your goal is something that you can accomplish in a week or a month. In actuality, aiming toward a short-term objective increases the likelihood that you will succeed with visualization over a long-term one. Having long-term goals can lead to a number of things that can divert your attention. Sometimes, the objective loses its significance from the moment you first considered it. Thus, you may eventually give up on a long-term goal. Visualization or meditation. One of the things that people wonder about is if they should pick visualization over meditation. This should not be a difficult or confusing question. Similar to visualization, the advantages of meditation practice have been shown by several research. There are several parallels between these two interlaced approaches. They aren't the same, though. While meditation engages the body and mind, visualization concentrates more on the mind. Compared to visualization, meditation is more comprehensive, intricate, and beneficial. Thus, your decision between the two will rely on your preferences. Visualization is what you need if all you want to do is clear your mind and maintain your motivation to realize your dream. But you need meditation if you want to quiet the chatter in your mind and drown out the voice of your inner critic in order to find inner peace. The lovely thing about this option is that you are not forced to make a decision. It is not difficult for you to practice visualization and meditation. Actually, you can use visualization in conjunction with your meditation. Thus, you may use that time to reflect on your goals and how you can reach them while you do your breathing exercises. As a result, you can concentrate on your goals and your strategy for achieving them rather than utilizing a slogan or physical object as your focal point. The state of inner peace that comes with meditation might help you visualize things more clearly. In the modern world, visualization it's common knowledge that top athletes use visualization-based training methods like scripting and guided imagery. These techniques help them get past their fears and encourage practice. They even use these methods for their own healing from wounds. Sports scientists and medical professionals are aware that two individuals with the same injury type may not heal at the same rate. In certain cases, an athlete's predicted return to competition is 6 months out. The coaches and medical staff were shocked to learn that the patient will heal in 4 months. Many would argue that it's because of the variations in immune systems. Yes, that cannot be ruled out. However, it's not that easy. Researchers have shown that immune system boosting mind-based techniques like visualization and meditation. Research has been able to prove a connection between these habits and how well the body defends itself. The immune system is strengthened by these methods. Consequently, it stands to reason that those who use visualization heal more quickly than those who don't. Olympic freestyle skier Emily Cook described her experience after practicing visualization in a New York Times article. She claimed that after 2 years of being injured and missing action, she was able to heal. She stated it herself, "I would say, I'm standing on the top of the hill, into the recorder. The breeze is caressing the back of my neck. I hear the throng." She added that she uses this practice as an opportunity to create a new trick. She claims that visualizing has been essential to her athletic career and success. Keep in mind that you don't need to be an athlete to gain from using this method. To succeed in any field and achieve the pinnacle of your profession, apply this practice. Chapter 2. Does visualization really work? Practicing visualization is pointless if it is ineffective. There are a lot of arguments both in favor of and against using imagery to propel yourself toward your goals. The reasons in favor of this practice's efficacy will be examined in this chapter. We'll tackle it by emphasizing the empirical evidence supporting visualization. The science behind visualization. To put it simply, visualization is the process of teaching your mind to motivate you to reach your goals. Your chances of succeeding are better the more you focus on something. Put another way, you won't likely amount to anything significant in life if you don't have high expectations for yourself. Celebrity biographies frequently touch on the subject of their aspirations for a better future and their tireless efforts to bring it to pass. Therefore, it is obvious that people's success with visualization has not been the result of chance. Does science provide a reason? Of course. The brain's neurochemical processes are at the center of the science underlying visualization. In your brain, your ideas generate neural patterns. Actions are linked to visualizations via the motor cortex. When you consider doing anything, like raising your arm or moving forward a few steps, your motor cortex gets aroused. Thus, using your imagination to practice your planned maneuver mentally will assist you recall it. The sensation of those occurrences being genuine comes from the neuronal pattern your brain forms. Many individuals find the bizarre practice of basketball players odd. They practice without really shooting a ball in order to increase their accuracy. Fascinatingly, they achieve the intended outcome. How could that be true? They develop mental skills to be proficient shooters. As a result, individuals are able to use the ball to mimic their fantasies. Your neurological system is stimulated by your imagination, and the results of that stimulation can often be astounding. Thus, by creating your future in your mind, you have the power to alter the trajectory of your existence. In response, your nervous system establishes a connection between your ideas and actions. Therefore, using visualization techniques brings you one step closer to realizing your dreams. You are envisioning good things happening to you, and eventually those ideas will lead you there. Mental practices are as effective as physical practices. Scientists claim that mental exercises are just as important as physical exercises, which is one of the reasons visualization works. Researchers looked into the possibilities of use mental strength to build muscle. 30 young individuals participated in the study. First, the participants were trained to mentally contract the little finger, and second, they were trained to mentally contract the elbow. A control group comprised the third group. They were therefore requested to take part in all measurements but did not get any mental training. The researchers came to the conclusion that the cortical output signal was improved by the mental training used. The muscles were driven to a greater level of activation as a result of this improvement. The participants' muscle strength also rose as a result. The study's conclusion demonstrates that mental exercises might have consequences that are comparable to those of physical ones. Indeed, the same outcomes cannot be achieved with mental training. Scientists have demonstrated, nevertheless, that mental exercises can activate bodily functions. This finding demonstrates the extent to which we can motivate ourselves to obtain our objectives by training our minds to get there. Evidence from virtual workouts. Some of the habits of the current world that would have been unthinkable a few years ago include virtual workouts. Since individuals were unable to leave their homes due to lockdowns enforced worldwide, the COVID-19 pandemic has increased its popularity. The use of technology to combine exercise and virtual reality is known as virtual workouts. Stated differently, it provides the equivalent experience of being in a classroom with a teacher even when you stay at home and don't use weights. Regarding the efficacy of these digital workouts, there have been pro and con views. However, a lot of people have stated that these agreements have benefited them. Additional proof of the impact of mental activity on physical behaviors can be found in a Cleveland Clinic Foundation study. In this study, participants who worked out at a gym were compared to those who engaged in mental workouts. As per Psychology Today, those who frequent physical gyms have claimed a 30% enhancement in their muscle strength. Interestingly, there was a 13.5% rise in those who engaged in virtual workouts. All they had to do was consider working out, and they got stronger. Howdy! According to the study's findings, athletes have always recognized that having positive thoughts about their goals is essential to achieving them. Therefore, it should come as no surprise that a large number of individuals from many areas of life are using visualization to accomplish amazing results. The fact that the human mind is a potent creator capable of inspiring extraordinary achievements is becoming more and more clear every day. At first, a lot of people believed visualization was just another modern-day buzzword that raised hopes but delivered no tangible benefits. But that was then, this is now. There are now a lot of skeptics boarding the ship. Evidence from stroke patients. A portion of our brains are triggered when we picture performing an action, which encourages us to do so. It has been demonstrated in studies involving stroke victims that brain activity can motivate people to perform physical movements. The area of the brain where there is a blood clot in the artery is not receiving blood flow in stroke victims. This blockage causes the blood tissues in that area of the brain to begin to die, which might cause paralysis in some body regions. A thorough explanation of how brain images assist such individuals may be found in the books Your Brain and Business and Life Unlocked by Srinivasan Pillai. In his Huffington Post blog, he detailed how fantasizing about moving a limb even after a stroke has paralyzed it causes blood flow in that direction to rise. The intensity of the flow can actually lessen the amount of tissue death in that area of the body. Isn't it intriguing? This assertion indicates that stroke victims can maintain some level of brain activity by using visualization. Their brains are still trying very hard to stimulate them even though they may never be able to move some parts of their body. How much more stimulation can those who have complete use of their limbs and other body parts receive if stroke victims are able to receive it? Every bodily aspect of you will begin to picture the day you will experience the imagined event as soon as you begin to imagine it. Your brain powers them, encouraging you to exert all of your effort to turn those ideas into reality. To assist you take advantage of this correlation, we will explore the relationship between the brain and imagery in the upcoming chapter. Chapter 3: How Visualization Affects the Brain. One of the body's tiniest organs is the brain. But it's the most crucial one. Anything that has an impact on your brain will have an impact on you. What is real to you is determined by your brain. Some people have such vivid imaginations that they actually feel real. We'll examine how imagery impacts your brain in this chapter and how you may use it to improve your chances of success. The brain thinks in images. The human brain is wired to process visual information. Your body is initially visualized in your brain before it does anything. Your routines become automatic when your brain becomes accustomed to them. This automation is the cause of some people's problems with harmful habits. Your body takes time to perform an action once it is in your mind. The motor cortex in your brain will get a signal before the action is activated if it is below the threshold. Whether this spark eventually turns into deeds depends on a number of circumstances. Your drive and desire to carry out the deed is one of them. Research has shown that thinking about yourself in the first person increases the likelihood that you will act on your thoughts compared to thinking about yourself in the second or third person. It's also critical to remember that consistency lends credibility to the action, causing it to perform. Successful use of visualization is impossible if your organization has a goal-changing culture. It is not possible to declare you have other plans the week after committing to being an athlete the week before. There won't be a consistent image for your brain to process. That will have the consequence of depriving you of the motivation you need to achieve in anything. As a result, you must deliberate carefully before choosing what you want to do in life. Imagination or reality? The brain gradually comes to believe that your fantasies are real, which is one of the reasons visualizing is beneficial. An impression is left on your brain, for instance, when you master a new skill like riding a bike. The skill imprint in your brain gets stronger the more you think about practicing it. You find it easier to remember anything related to that work or talent at this point. There are moments when you can actually feel the skill as you practice it. Your brain's inability to distinguish between fantasy and reality is the cause of your experience. For the same reason, some people can find it frightening to see themselves in a risky circumstance. Though it may sound unusual, studies have verified it to be the case. This assertion is supported by research conducted by the International Coaching Academy, which was published in its Neuroscience and Visualization Research Report. The researchers found that if you repeatedly exercise an idea in your mind, your brain would start to react to it as though it were a real item. The study clarified that the thalamus's activity is what causes this reaction. The brain's mechanism for creating reality is controlled by the thalamus. It's interesting to note that this brain region lacks the ability to discriminate between internal and exterior reality. Thus, a notion will begin to appear genuine if you think about it for a long enough time. Because it appears realistic to you, you will begin to believe that you can do it. The first brain perception-based motivator towards reaching a goal is this. It will activate additional brain regions and bodily functions to initiate purposeful behaviors that will enable you to accomplish the goal. Visualization and the reticular activating system. One of the ways that visualization helps people get the kind of amazing outcomes that come from doing this practice is because of its impact on the brain's reticular activating system, RAS. Your brain will be more active to ensure that you pay more attention to possibilities that would assist you attain the goal if you have a culture of thinking about your goals. For instance, if you aspire to be a music star, you'll be more aware to advertisements encouraging mastering the keyboard. A person who aspires to be an athlete won't be drawn in by that same advertisement since they lack such vivid imaginations. Your RAS is essential in helping you focus on items that are associated with your dreams. Among the various roles the RAS plays is that of a gatekeeper, picking which pieces of information should be in the background and which ones should be brought to your attention. Every moment of your life, you are frequently inundated with millions of stimuli and pieces of information. Therefore, it is not possible for you to focus on everything at once. Only roughly 11 million things can be processed by your subconscious mind in a second. Your conscious mind, however, is limited to processing 40 to 120 things every second. Consequently, it is inevitable that you will overlook certain items. The RAS is responsible for helping your brain distinguish between the relevant and irrelevant information. Safety and interest. The RAS bases its decision on two factors, safety and interest, when determining which data to retain and which to discard. Stated differently, the RAS prioritizes information that will protect you. The items that pique your interest come next on the list. When you think about something a lot, your RAS will infer that it's important and exciting to you. Therefore, by using visualization, you are teaching your brain to give priority to data and objects related to your objectives. Things that make no sense to others will present possibilities to you since they align with your objectives. Your ability to perceive factors that may improve your chances of realizing your dreams has been enhanced. As a result, you will always be alert to such things when you see them. Now that your brain is awake, it will begin to operate similarly to a satellite searching for a certain signal. When it locates it, it startles you into taking action. Through the use of visualization, you can consciously educate your mind to assist you in identifying opportunities. Your brain will use the ideas you have generated as a model for the kinds of things it considers significant. It will guarantee that you don't ignore such items when you come across them. Chapter 4: Perks of Visualization. The kind of widespread acceptance that visualization enjoys today would not be possible if there were no advantages that people experienced from practicing visualization. When you visualize, you can enhance your life and experiences in a number of ways. These are a few of the more popular ones. Stress reduction. Stresses abound in today's environment, and it's well acknowledged that we cannot survive without them. In actuality, without some tension, nothing significant can be accomplished. When you are putting a lot of effort into reaching the pinnacle of your career, you will encounter stressors. Similar to this, attempting to succeed as an entrepreneur or elite athlete may cause you to experience some stress. But you must not allow stress to overcome you, because doing so would be detrimental to both your physical and mental well-being. Therefore, in order to maintain the health of both your body and mind, it is imperative that you find ways to manage your stress level. The good news is that using visualization as a stress reduction strategy works. How could that be true? Because it gives you a sense of control. Seeing success and making plans to achieve it helps you feel less anxious. Feeling as like you are out of control of your life is the scariest thing there is. Harmony with yourself. Your aspirations and dreams reveal your character. To put it another way, in a perfect world, your goals and worldview would be evident in what you desire to do. For instance, you might want to reach the pinnacle of your profession because you want to make a lot of money so that you can support other people. As a result, you will see images of improving the world when you picture that dream. Imaginations like these help you feel comfortable in your own skin. It makes you feel as though you are starting a journey that will define your personality, which boosts your sense of purpose and self-worth. Because you are doing something that is really important to you, every step you take in the direction of your target will make you joyful and satisfied. Goal-setting experts encourage people to develop objectives that align with their life's purpose in order to achieve this harmony. Clarity. In the current world, you have an abundance of distractions, making it difficult to maintain attention. Individuals are thriving in a number of fields that were unheard of a few years ago. You can achieve the same goals through a variety of job routes. In the modern world, there are over 1,000 ways to attain financial independence if that is your desire. Selecting a course that will enable you to optimize your strengths is so essential. By using visualization, you may make a decision and follow through on your goals. Keep in mind that there are ups and downs on any professional journey. Using imagery might assist you in making plans and avoiding distractions. Although you'll witness others succeeding by taking an alternative route, you must remain focused. Reap the benefits later on by having faith in the process. Mastery of new skills. When you have never considered learning and mastering a skill, how can you acquire and master it? Olympic freestyle skier Emily Cook has benefited from visualization in this way, as was previously reported. Using imagery aids in the process of learning and mastering new abilities, since it allows you to picture yourself after training is over. If you are learning to play the guitar, for instance, you will be inspired by your imagination when you imagine the audience applauding after a fantastic performance. There will be times when you lack the desire to study more. But you'll motivate yourself because you'll keep seeing the satisfaction that comes with reaching your goal. You'll never give up until you achieve the grace and proficiency you so much desire. Enhance motivation. In every trip, without desire, you cannot reach the end line. Zeal is what motivates you to work hard to achieve a goal. The truth is that one can never be confident of anything since life is inherently uncertain. You can, however, take a few steps to improve your chances of success. Having the drive and ambition to go above and beyond to achieve a goal is one of them. Keep in mind that your mental condition determines your motivation. You are driven to exert all of your effort to reach your goals when you have visions of reaching them and a clear route to do so. Knowing what to do will make it easier for you to believe in the process and exercise patience. You'll be able to persevere because you have faith that you will eventually accomplish your goal. Generation of creative ideas. In the modern world, creativity is a prerequisite for success. In order to stand out in the highly competitive 21st century, one must think beyond the box. The things you do are not unique to you. To become indispensable in your organization or sector, you must therefore possess unique skills. To solve issues and, when needed, invent the wheel, you need imagination. Your ability to visualize potential obstacles that could thwart your efforts boosts your inventiveness. As you visualize the possible issues, you'll also be able to recognize them and make preparations for them. Visualization facilitates the analysis of existing methods for a job and suggests improvements. Individuals are constantly looking for improvements to the solutions that are currently available, so if you can provide them with superior options, you will become popular right away. Improved performance. Athletes use visualization, as previously said, to enhance their performance. In addition, anything that increases your drive, provides clarity, and fosters creativity will undoubtedly boost your output. Increasing your confidence through visualization is a crucial component in becoming successful in all areas of your life. Being down on yourself will prevent you from being ambitious. You'll purposefully establish low goals because you're scared of not meeting them. You don't want somebody to claim that you abandoned a project you were unable to complete. You will therefore choose to settle for the goals that would allow you to reach your goals stress-free rather than pursuing your true desires. You will never be great if you keep avoiding problems. Accept difficulties, picture them, and put your all into achieving them. Chapter 5: Common Inhibitions of the Power of Visualization. If something is working for others, but you aren't getting the same result, it's either something is wrong with that thing or you. If you aren't getting the same positive results that many people enjoy when they practice visualization, it might be because you are practicing it wrongly. This chapter is diagnostic because it aims to identify symptoms of a wrong approach to visualization. If your visualization isn't yielding the desired outcomes, it might be due to one or more of the following reasons. Ambiguous goals. When you don't have a clear-cut goal, you cannot set your mind in the right direction to achieve it. You shouldn't set targets that are hazy because they will become unrealistic and unattainable in the long run. For example, you cannot say that your dream is to become the best in your field. It sounds reasonable and admirable at first glance. However, a critical look at the statement shows that it is vague. What do you mean by best in your field? What are the parameters you will use to judge and know when you have achieved that goal? A dream that isn't clearly defined is just a fantasy that will never leave the realm of your imagination. However, it's better when your goal involves specific milestones and benchmarks, such as winning a coveted award that will distinguish you from others in your field. Short-term or long-term. The requirements for achieving long-term goals aren't the same for short-term goals. So, you need to know what you need to do in both situations. Short-term goals require a lot of commitment, focus, motivation, and energy because you need to accomplish the target within a short period. However, it's a different ball game when you want to achieve a goal that will take months or years. For example, if you want to become a medical expert, it's not something you can achieve within weeks of training. This target and similar long-term goals require patience. Therefore, if you cannot hang in there and ward off distractions, you won't be able to attain them. You might have a mental route regarding how you will reach your destination. However, if you get distracted or frustrated along the line, you will abandon the project and find something else you can do with your life. Pessimism. Visualization is harmed by negative thoughts. Your efforts would be in vain if your mind is filled with uncertainties and skepticism over your capacity to realize your dream. Keep in mind that there are obstacles for any significant goal. Your mentality is what will get you through those trying moments. You will eventually give up if you let the voices and ideas of pessimism rule your thinking. Consequently, you should make every effort to silence the voices in your head that warn you that you won't succeed in your endeavors and that you will end up like someone you know who gave up. Everybody has fears, and it's acceptable to be afraid occasionally. But in order to fulfill your dream, you have to confront your anxieties head-on and disregard the fallout from your dedication. Think uplifting ideas to help you stay focused and keep your eyes on the ball. Lack of ambition. Being overambitious isn't good because it can lead to desperation. Meanwhile, when you are desperate, you can lose everything valuable for you to achieve your dream. You can compromise on your relationship with your loved ones and your health when you can do anything to accomplish a target. However, you cannot achieve anything monumental when you aren't ambitious. You need a strong desire to get to the finishing line to achieve anything substantial. When you aren't ambitious, you will take whatever cards life has dealt you. You cannot afford to go through life without the desire to make a mark. You should have things you want to achieve that will give you a sense of achievement. Visualization cannot be effective when you don't have a strong determination to become the best you can be. Low commitment. As mentioned earlier, visualization isn't all about creating images in your head and expecting things to work out somehow. Anyone who thinks they can make a mark in life with that languid and lackadaisical approach has no clue regarding what it takes to be an achiever. Visualization isn't a magical practice that gives you results from thin air. Anyone who tells you that you can become great by just imagining greatness is only introducing you to a Ponzi scheme. There are certain rules you have to follow before you can stand up to be counted among the successful people in this world. One of them is that you have to be committed to whatever it is you want to achieve. Once you visualize the dream, you have to be ready to put in the hard work necessary to accomplish it. Lack of training. You cannot achieve your dream when you don't have a clue regarding how you can accomplish it. For example, if you want to be a highly rated investor, you need to know what it takes. You'll need training and mentorship from people who can help you reach your target. It's always better to be trained by people who have achieved your target before. Such people will be able to provide you with the knowledge and tips you need. They will be able to provide practical guidance for you because of their experience. They know the likely potholes in your journey, and they will warn you about them before you get there. You don't have to learn by making mistakes because they can be costly sometimes. It's always better to learn from the errors of others so that you can avoid the same pitfall they fell into. Visualization without getting trained to succeed is just a joke. Inactivity. An inactive person isn't serious about achieving anything in life. You cannot achieve your dreams when you aren't actively working towards them. Visualization isn't a practice that keeps you sitting somewhere, hoping things work out miraculously. Rather, it fills your boot with the fire to go all out to do all you can to make things work out. Don't confuse patience with inactivity because they aren't the same. There might be periods when you have no choice other than to wait. However, patience doesn't mean that you'll not be doing anything. Rather, it is all about believing in the process rather than getting frustrated because you are yet to achieve your targets. Visualization cannot have any impact on the life of a lazy person. You must never rest on your laurels until you have reached your destination. Lack of perseverance. When you imagine yourself attaining a target, you need to persevere until your imagination becomes a reality. There is a gap between your imaginations and their fulfillment. It is in your best interest to fill that gap with patience and perseverance. You need these virtues to bridge the realm of reality and the realm of dreams. You need to be dogged enough to hang in there when things are not going the way you want them. You should also be resilient enough to recover when it seems your dreams are getting shattered. There will be moments like that when it looks as though you'll never reach your destination. You also need people who will help you keep calm and keep fighting until the end. Visualization is a means and not the end. Perseverance is one of the keys that will help you to make your imaginations a reality. Chapter 6: Visualization Techniques. Knowing the advantages you could experience is useless if you don't know how to get there. Creating pictures of an event and making plans to make it happen are less technical than visualization. Comprehending certain approaches is crucial for achieving success in visualization practice. To provide you with the greatest experience possible, this chapter will highlight and explain them. Mental rehearsal. One of the most popular visualization methods is mental rehearsal, which is something that many individuals engage in. It entails imagining yourself succeeding in your objective. If you are an athlete, you may envision the cheers and ovations of devoted supporters as you cross the finish line. You can see yourself shaking your CEO's hand and hearing him congratulate you if you are expecting a significant promotion. This straightforward method might motivate you to turn your dreams into reality by helping you to develop images. Triggered visuals. The ability of the human mind to make connections between experiences is well known. This explains why a slight whiff of a scent can cause a vivid memory to be activated, which can cause a wave of emotions to wash over you. You can consciously set off this trigger by recognizing them and the emotion they evoke in you. Play your favorite song, for instance, if you need some inspiration to stay focused on the task at hand. It might also help you remember your objective. You may use a specific playlist to prepare for an event. When it's time to perform, play them. It helps you to keep in mind the hardships and labors you have endured, motivating you to work more. Issue yourself check. Although this visualization method is not as popular as the others, some users have had excellent success with it. It entails writing a check to yourself. This method has limitations because its main goal is to make a significant sum of money. If your goal in life is to become a millionaire at a specific age, it is worthwhile to give it a shot. The well-known comedian Jim Carrey is a prime example of someone who successfully applied this strategy. 10 years before he became a millionaire, he wrote a $10 million check to himself. It might work for you as well, given that it did for him. Leverage a vision board. The mind was the tool employed in the first two procedures that have been discussed thus far. But if you use concrete imagery, you might elevate the situation even further. This can be accomplished by making a vision board. This board serves as a visual aid to help you stay focused by serving as a reminder of your goals. Making the most of a vision board is essential, particularly for those with aphantasia. Individuals with this illness are unable to create mental images. You can make a vision board with images of people in the ideal form if you're trying to reduce weight. Make your goals physical with a note card. The last approach might not be to your taste, particularly if you don't have a financial goal. Using a note card is a good alternative if you need a way to make your goals tangible even if they don't include money. Setting down your objectives on paper helps them become more attainable. Make sure your writing conveys conviction and confidence as you write these goals. You shouldn't write, "I want to improve my relationship with my friends and family," for instance. Write, "I will improve my relationship with my friends and family," instead. It is imperative that you set these note cards in areas where you will frequently encounter them. Convert your desires into reality. When someone frames their dreams as something they want to happen rather than something they think will happen, it can be one of the reasons they don't obtain the anticipated outcome from visualizing. This small adjustment might be the miracle you've been waiting for to close the gap between your ideal and actual life. There will be doubts when you wish for something to happen. In the meanwhile, your dedication to completing a task is impacted when you lack confidence in your ability to do it. On the other hand, you will be more motivated to put in the necessary effort to accomplish a goal if you are certain that you will succeed. Locate your happy place. You should have that place in your life that you can go to when you want to be away from the pressures of life. One of the ways visualization can help you reduce stress is when you practice it in your safe haven. Your happy place might be when you are isolated on a boat in the middle of a pool of water. For some people, they are at peace with themselves when they are sitting in the midst of rock somewhere away from home. It doesn't matter where you choose. What matters is that it is a location where you find inner peace. Think about your future and how you will achieve your dreams whenever you are in that place. Rehearse challenging situations. When you're about to face a potentially dicey situation, a visualization technique that can come in handy is rehearsing the event. For example, if you need to have a meeting with your boss about increasing your pay rise, you can leverage this method. This discussion is sensitive because it might make the person think you're driven by money. So, it's in your best interest to plan how you will present your case without ruffling any feathers. After all, your goal is to get a pay rise and not a sack letter or fight with your boss. Imagine the discussion and the likely questions he or she might ask you. Put yourself in your employer's shoes. Plan for multiple outcomes. It's wise to maintain your optimism and your expectation that you'll receive the kind of outcome you want. It's not always the case, though. Depending on your training and preparation, you could either win or lose if you are getting ready for a race. You ought to envision oneself triumphing. But if you lose, how would you respond? Will you be courteous in defeat and still applaud the winner, or will you leave in annoyance? It doesn't follow that you won't succeed in a competition again just because you didn't win this one. Thus, far in advance of the event, prepare your responses in case things don't go your way. Choose a role model. Whatever it is that you are going through, there have been others who have experienced similar things. For instance, if you're having a setback, remember that there are those who have also experienced disappointment. Steve Jobs, for instance, was infamously fired from Apple. How did he manage to become better? There are other uses for visualization than imagining and realizing dreams. It can also be applied to bounce back from failures. Consider someone who has already traveled this same route. Learn how he or she was able to make things better, then base your conclusions on that information. Ward off negative emotions. Negative emotions are one of the barriers to effective visualization, as was previously indicated. When you have previously failed at whatever you are attempting to accomplish, you need to be more persistent. It's normal for failure-related ideas and pictures to go through your head. But you have to speak out against them. When you find yourself thinking thoughts that are restricting and demoralizing, shift your focus to something uplifting. Say encouraging affirmations if you are having trouble thinking positively. You cannot afford to allow unfavorable vibes to sap your drive. Chapter 7: How to use the power of visualization to achieve your dreams. The preceding chapters are continued in this one. It has more advice that can help you use visualization's power to realize your goals. It is more methodical than the previous one, though. Choose a SMART goal. Setting goals is the foundation of visualization. If you don't have things you want to accomplish, then there's no reason to create imageries for anything. So, you need to start by deciding what you want to achieve. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When your goals don't have these characteristics, you are just emotional. Specific means that the goal is clearly spelled out and not vague, while measurable means that there are benchmarks and milestones that indicate the achievement of the target. Achievable means that the goal is realistic, while relevant means that the target is connected to meaningfulness. Finally, time-bound means that you intend to achieve the goal within a specific period. Envision it in detail. After choosing your target, the next step involves creating imaginations around the goal. Imagine yourself performing and achieving the goal. If your dream is to become a medical doctor, imagine yourself treating people and helping them to recover from pains and diseases. In the same way, if your target is to learn how to play the piano, imagine yourself dazzling a crowd with your skills. However, don't just be fixated at the end. Begin by thinking about the process of achieving your target. For example, think about the training process and how you'll choose to endure all the difficulties that might come during the period. Determine not to quit regardless of the challenges that come your way while envisioning the process. Employ all your senses. All your senses have to be involved during visualization. You will engage your sense of smell, sight, sound, taste, and feel. What will you be wearing on your graduation day? How will it feel on your body? What kind of food will be available on that day? Your mind has to capture all these details and engage your senses to make them as real as possible. When your thoughts have been able to capture the details and translate them to your senses, you will keep working hard to ensure that it comes to pass. You'll want to get to the finishing because you want to have an actual experience of your imagination. Therefore, you will buckle down and get to work because you have dreams to achieve. Be a storyteller. You can aid your imagery by writing a story of your success. Emily Cook employs this approach. Investigators have discovered that people who write out their goals have a higher chance to achieve them than individuals who don't. You don't have to write it down in a book. Instead, you can record it as audio. Then play it to yourself at different times. Playing it to yourself multiple times will help you to encode the words in your brain, helping you to form images of it easily. Scientists have found that various parts of your brain are activated when you synthesize an experience by using multiple senses. The resultant effect of this activation is a powerful visualization and more productivity. So, you will be boosting your chances of creating images that will spur you to success when you write and record your expectations and read or listen to them repeatedly. Be flexible. It's always good to have multiple roadmaps in life to avoid being stranded. You cannot afford to be rigid because things don't always happen exactly as you want them. So, while thinking about a particular target and how you can achieve it, you should also think of similar alternatives in case things didn't turn out the way you planned them. For example, if you're trying to learn the piano, you can see learning the guitar as another alternative in case you find the going too tough. Indeed, this isn't an option you should plan to exercise. However, it will come in handy in case you had to seek a different option. There's no point sticking with something if the best you can be at it is an average performer. Identify inner obstacles. After writing down your goal and creating imaginations of it, it's crucial that you identify the likely challenges that can frustrate your effort. You need to start from the internal factors such as your confidence, self-esteem, and motivation. Whether you realize it or not, you have control over these things. No one can shatter your confidence or reduce your self-esteem if you don't allow them. In the same way, no one can make you lose the motivation and desire to achieve your dreams if you don't empower them to that extent in your life. There will always be people who will discourage you regardless of what you want to achieve. You should think about the likely criticisms that can be levied against your targets beforehand. Provide reasonable and logical responses to those allegations before anyone comes up with them. You should be your own greatest critic to ensure that you will be able to stand against the scorching words of destructive critics. Identify external obstacles. You don't have only internal issues to contend with whenever you are trying to accomplish a target. There are also external factors that can derail your ambition. Funding can be a critical factor that can make it impossible for you to achieve some things. You should plan for it as you think about how you will reach your destination. You can always ask people you know who can give you tips regarding how you can get money to finance your dreams. You might be surprised to find out that there are opportunities such as grants that can make things easier. Don't be a lone ranger because it makes you susceptible to being stranded. Implement intentions. There are always going to be questions in your heart while you're attempting to accomplish a goal. It merely demonstrates your humanity. But you must not allow anything to stop you. Putting your intentions into action is the final stage of visualization. Prioritize the easy things first. It could be necessary for you to first consult with an expert before beginning. When attempting to converse with individuals, you should exercise caution because some talks can completely sap your motivation and energy. It is usually preferable to talk to those who are either achieving your goals or are successful in the pursuit of them. Chapter 8: Habits that optimize visualization power. Similar to meditation, there are certain routines that might optimize your visualization experience. We've already mentioned a few aspects that can make it harder for you to employ pictures. We'll look at some behaviors in this last chapter that can help you use your imagination more effectively to realize your goals. The behaviors listed below can help you maximize your ability to visualize. Living in the moment. Although we occasionally encounter difficult circumstances, life is also filled of wonderful days, people, events, and possessions. But it's possible to lose yourself in worry and future-focused anxieties to the point where you cease to be living. Put differently, you will let moments to pass you by without fully experiencing them. Even when everyone around you is having a good time and laughing, you won't find anything to grin about. Even if you're eating your favorite dish, the dread and negativity in your mind will make it taste less good than it used to. Everything will appear colorless to you, even if you are in the middle of a gorgeous flower garden. You need to start engaging in mindfulness exercises if you discover that this is how you're spending your life. By doing this, you'll learn to see the good things in life and discover reasons to be joyful even when faced with difficulties. You cannot take use of the power of visualization if you are not present in the moment. Expectation of positive results. Life is full of depressing days that sneak up on you. Even when you are not directly affected by a bad event, you can still feel depressed when the people you care about are going through difficult times. If you don't take precautions, you could grow accustomed to bad experiences to the point where you start anticipating them. That's not where you should be going. Realism should not turn you into a pessimist. This will have an impact on your visualization when you don't anticipate positive things happening to you. You won't be able to see oneself accomplishing great achievement. Rather, you will be terrified that something might go wrong. It's true that life may be erratic. However, a large number of people are still successful in realizing their goals. Who says you can't succeed in a comparable manner? Make a mental adjustment to anticipate success. It will have an impact on your motivation and drive to achieve significant achievement. Positive affirmations. Your thoughts and your behavior are guided by your affirmations. Steer clear of negative ideas as they tend to become self-fulfilling prophecies. Your self-deprecating comments and ideas may force you to convince yourself that you are unworthy. You could deplete your confidence and mood, which would impact how well you perform. Relationships can be destroyed by negative thinking since others won't want to be around you when they think you're a bad person. Additionally, negative affirmations might destroy your career by exposing your low self-esteem. Meanwhile, you won't be trusted to manage matters on behalf of others if you're seen as someone lacking confidence. It's important to deliberately think positively about yourself. Self-sabotaging ideas and behaviors can be eliminated and challenged with the aid of positive affirmations. Interestingly, studies have shown that you do better when you take a few minutes before a task to reflect on your strongest traits. This will be helpful in stressful interview situations. Gratitude. You should cultivate an attitude of gratitude, particularly for the sake of your mental well-being. You won't always get what you desire in life. You have the option, though, to choose happiness nonetheless. Happiness, in case you didn't know, is a decision. You will constantly discover reasons to be thankful and joyful if you make the decision to see the positive aspects of life. Being grateful is essential, particularly after losing something important. One of the main causes of depression following a defeat is the inability to find any silver lining in the experience. It makes sense that losing a contract or your job would make you unhappy. But that doesn't mean your life is over. You will never be able to take the time to consider fresh options if your mind is constantly focused on what you have lost. People lose hope after a setback if they are unable to see the bright side. In the meanwhile, despair can be extremely damaging. It's one of the causes of suicide attempts. Realism. Being unrelenting and refusing to accept blame for your mistakes is a positive quality. But when you set objectives and envision your future, you have to remain impartial. For instance, you must acknowledge that you are not the only person in the world with the desire to become the greatest in your area ever. So stop being such a whiner. The world does not revolve around you, therefore you will never be in the center of attention all the time. On certain days, someone else will do enough to be recognized for an award before you. Avoid being resentful and treating them disrespectfully due to your infatuation with victory. When someone else deserves triumph, honor their hard work. It's not a good idea to get so competitive that you constantly feel like a loser when someone else receives recognition rather than you. When it's your moment, revel in the limelight and give others a little more love. People would only start to treat you disrespectfully if they see that you get depressed over their achievement. Contentment. Being content does not imply that you are not planning to make improvements to your current circumstances. It doesn't imply that you lack ambition, either. To be able to control the hyperactivity and desperation that come with ambition, you actually need to be content. The sense of fulfillment you get from working toward your goal is known as contentment. Your worth will not be determined by realizing your dreams when you are content. Instead, you'll feel good about yourself whether or not you meet your goals. You won't subject yourself to excessive stress. You won't be realistic while making goals if you're unhappy. You'll establish goals that you can't possibly meet in the time you plan to do so. But because your perception is clouded by desperation and low self-esteem, you won't notice that your goals are unattainable. Anyone who suggests that you modify your strategy will be viewed as an opponent by you. When ambition blindfolds you, you will never be able to discern between a constructive and destructive critic. Proactive actions. Being proactive means taking action before something bad happens. Put differently, you'll be able to recognize possible issues and offer fixes ahead of time. Proactive individuals put preventative actions ahead of curative ones. As a result, they rarely make mistakes or struggle to find solutions to complex situations. Being proactive makes it easier to visualize because you'll be able to see things as they might happen. Thus, while you're imagining something, you won't be blind to the problems that could render your efforts ineffective. You'll be able to plan for or avoid potential hazards on your journey once you can identify them. You will ask more knowledgeable people the questions you need to ask. Asking questions prevents people from making mistakes. They pick up knowledge from others, which helps them stay away from the same issues that others encountered due to their ignorance and naivety. Unprecedented circumstances that could easily derail us abound in life. On the other hand, being proactive will lessen the likelihood that you will run into unanticipated issues. Conclusion. Life is full with uncertainty, as we all know. That being said, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have goals for your dreams. Your goals offer you a sense of purpose and direct you toward your life's destiny. Visualization is one of the tools you need to reach that desired high. It's evident that the visualization is straightforward, but it works incredibly well to propel you toward your goals. Put an end to hearing from folks who have a gloomy and negative outlook on life. It's wise to exercise caution and set reasonable expectations, in fact. However, there are plenty of inspiring tales of people who have realized their goals. Learn more about these individuals by reading, particularly in the area of expertise you have. You can find inspiration and resonance in reading about people who overcame adversity to accomplish goals that align with your own. When you're prepared to pay the price, it gives you the assurance that you can accomplish the same thing. Recall that reaching your nirvana requires more than just dreams and imagery. You must be prepared to work hard and motivated to make the necessary progress. Industry and imagery, however, are not incompatible. They are both necessary, they are the two sides of a coin. You have no limits. Go for your goals and develop into the greatest version of yourself.